Choice. No pretense, no hidden schemes. Just sports, passion, fueling dreams. From the field to the court, every play that's made. Real takes over fake debates. Turn it up, hear the honest sound. Unfiltered sports all year round. Discussions pure, no masquerade. Real takes over fake debates. Turn it up. Over fake debates. Real takes over fake debates. Real takes over fake debates.
We are not on the screen, but we are live. Sbtalksports, Sean Webb. Real takes over fake debates. It is Friday. Sean, how you doing?
Doing good, SB. How you doing this Friday?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. Also, I would like to happily announce, Sean, I was resting a little bit. I just got back in the crib. We are officially got the RTOFD memberships. We're going to have a post. I'll explain more later. But if you want to join and you see the join button right there, please join and become a member of the channel. Come with perks, exclusive access. I'm going to definitely give you more details in the future. But if you want to become a Real Takes Over Fake member and support SB and Sean, please join and hit that membership button down below. Sean, like you said, it is Friday. We got a lot to talk about. A lot of things going on in the sports world. Blue Ball said the recent blame of LeBron NBA is over the top. Maybe not. We're going to explain that. And then Tiffany already says salute SB and Sean. Hit that like button as always. Make sure you guys like, make sure you guys share, make sure you guys subscribe, and make sure you guys follow us on all the platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Apple, Spotify, iHeart. Make sure you follow us on that. Sean, we got some breaking news, though, to get into first off the bat. The Jaguars, they had the coach. I believe they had the quarterback. Heard something going on maybe with the Steelers with the quarterback. But we got breaking news. We need to drop. Breaking news on the Real Takes Over Fake Debates Network. The Jacksonville Jaguars have hired James Gladstone as their new general manager. Obviously, I think they went about things kind of backwards, but hey, hiring your coach first before your GM is a little different because you just try to keep them together and make it be the GM choice. But the Jaguars wanted to do what they wanted to do. But how do you rate this move, Sean? What do you grade it?
Obviously they poached the Rams front office. James Gladstone was with the Rams for about 8 years, if I'm not mistaken. Served in multiple roles in the Rams front office, director of scouting strategy, Rams senior assistant to the general manager, Rams director he was an assistant to player personnel coordinator as well. And he obviously worked in the Rams organization when Liam Cohen was there for 2 years. So they, know each other, have a relationship. Obviously, anytime a team makes a decision like this, you like there to be some semblance of a relationship because it is very much a hand-in-hand relationship between your GM and your head coach. But how he does in the job remains to be seen. They got some work to do, clearly,
Yes.
on that team and on that roster. And primarily, they feel pretty good about having Trevor Lawrence locked up long term. But they got to make sure they're building out right around him. And obviously, they were not very good defensively last year. Well, let me rephrase. They weren't very good last year, period.
Yeah, they weren't good last year at all.
So, and if you just look in the division, obviously Houston being the class of the division, when you think about Tennessee having the first pick, likely going to get their potential franchise quarterback in this draft. And we're saying likely because, again, anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
And then obviously Indianapolis is a team that's, kind of hovering around 500, but they got to make sure they're getting their situation right with Anthony Richardson. So there's a lot of work to be done in Jacksonville, but we'll see what happens. And, with him and new head coach Liam Cohen.
If I'm Trevor Lawrence, I should be happy if this guy had the hands on getting Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, the guys like that, receiver core. I'll be happy on that point of view. Like, hey, baby, he can find receivers, diamonds in the rough when it comes to receivers. Obviously, I'm trying to think when was the Rams championship? How long ago that was? Did he play a part in that championship? Right? I'm trying to think.
He was in the front office when they won the
He's in
Super
front
Bowl.
office. Okay, so obviously he got some championship pedigree with him. I think that'll be huge for this team because honestly, with that first run they had, which was that I don't like talk about it when they had that 28-0 run with against us, my Chargers in the playoffs. Everybody had high hopes for this team, and they've been mediocre since then. Everybody thought at least Trevor Lawrence would be in that top 10 quarterback conversation. If he opened his ability, maybe in that top 5 quarterback conversation. He has to live up to that expectation. Obviously, after that first run, we thought they was going to be like above standard, and then next thing you know, CJ Stroud came in rookie year, took over that division. So I got high hopes for this team, especially Trevor Lawrence, and to see they do better because obviously I would love to see that division be a little bit competitive. Say like a one-team division. I want to actually see somebody else compete with the Texans because I thought it was just going to be the Jaguars division for a while. So we'll see how it go. Next on the list, we got another breaking news story. I'm going to drop the sounder for it. Bills is probably going to have trouble keeping James Cook. James Cook pretty much said he wants to get what he deserves in a new contract. He said like $15 million plus per year. Also, they dropped another statement saying that he don't want to be a cancer to the team during this time. He want to just get the contract done and over with. Obviously, this is another tale story that we always deal with. And it's sad to see with what Saquon Barkley has accomplished so far this year, that running backs are still going through the same thing again about are you questioning the paying the running back? And obviously, you look on the offensive side of the ball, besides maybe anybody on offensive line, just skill position only when I say this. I mean, James Cook probably is the best player on a defense. I mean, offense. I'm sorry. James Cook is probably James Cook is probably the best player on their offense. You got to pay the man like that. We need to stop paying off position and pay off production. And if you want to keep the price range of what you're paying people because of a certain position, that's fine with me. But if I'm one of the best players on the team offensively, pay me like that. Don't say, "Oh no, you're a running back. We can replace you." You can't. The Giants let go of Saquon. I don't think they replaced that. The Titans let go of Derrick Henry. Pollard is a solid back, but I don't think you replaced that. You know, like that's what I think. But do you think he'd get paid or not?
Well, he's in the last year of his deal. He was a second round pick, so when he signed, he only has a 4-year deal. He's played 3 years, been a 2-time Pro Bowler. He's been at least co-led the NFL in touchdowns one season. He is a very, very valuable part of what they do, and I think part of the reason why they were so comfortable letting Stephon Diggs go the way they did was because of James Cook's dual threat ability as a runner and as a receiver. That offense is really, really good when he's on the field, and he is deserving of getting paid. This is his first year he's eligible to get a contract extension because, again, he had to be in 3 years to get it. It makes sense for them to do it, but certainly they have some other things they're going to have to take care of as well. Getting Greg Rousseau extended, their pass rusher extended, certainly getting Von Miller's situation, cleaned up, his contract situation cleaned up potentially. So, they got some work to do, but I would gather that, this is going to be super high on Trent Baalke's to-do list this offseason because, again, you'd rather get out in front of it. And also, to that point, if James Cook continues on the path, he's only going to have another Pro Bowl season next year.
Yep.
And, yesterday's price will not be today's price.
That's said, don't wait.
So that said, if, they value him at that level, and I would think they do, they need to go ahead and get this taken care of this offseason.
Shout out Citizen Lou in the chat. He said running backs got to run, catch the ball, block. Definitely should get paid. 1,000% agree. They literally do everything. You have to do everything. Bro, the running back is a running back, a wide receiver, an O-lineman. If you want to say tight end, you can be a tight end. No, but you get what I'm saying? That's like, you don't understand how valuable a running back is. Like, I understand, like, some players, they have big-time plays with the receivers, but let's be real, like, majority of the time, especially if it's a running back who catch the ball, the running back go get used more than any receiver. Receiver probably like, what's the matter? I'm trying to think, what's the highest amount of like catches we done probably seen
from a running back?
Yeah, and a wide receiver in like a game, like probably like
20.
All time 20. Somebody called 20. Who called 20 catches in the game?
T.O.
That sounds like some T.O. stuff. I'm about to 20. But you just flabbergasted me with that 20 catches in the game. This ain't happened when he was with the Eagles.
No, it happened when he was with the 49ers.
Okay, that makes sense. I know McNabb ain't throwing the ball to him 20 straight times. That ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, Brandon Marshall broke it. Brandon Marshall had caught 21 in a game.
I guarantee he was with the Bears when he caught it too.
It was actually with the Broncos.
But it was Jay Cutler, his quarterback, though, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
But
now back to the point though, that just threw me off. But the running back pretty much gonna get used. The check down pass, the run for yardage, all that. Now, I think he should get paid. I think you should pay the man because I think I can't see Josh Allen surviving losing like MVP season. Close MVP at that, but I can't see him surviving a whole nother run or having another MVP season without James Cook back there with him. So I say pay the man.
Yeah, no. I think it comes down to, is James Cook special? I think James Cook is in that upper echelon of running backs in the NFL, right? Yes. that because of his dual threat ability, well, I'll say triple threat ability because, again, as Citizen Lou mentioned in the chat, he is a good blocker as well. But his ability as a runner, as a receiver, you don't want to lose that. And also, you don't want that distraction more than likely going into camp this offseason. You want guys coming into camp ready to go because, again, you just went to the AFC Championship game. You feel like you're close to, overtaking the Eagles. I'm sorry, the Chiefs in the conference. You want to get that taken care of.
Yeah, no, I think at this point in time, especially now when you've seen the Eagles just won, hey, you got to get on it because Travis Kelce, one more foot out the door. We don't know what this Chiefs team is going to look like over the years, so they're getting weaker. I think you need to keep your foot on the gas. This is not no time to let your team get weak. If any AFC team right now should be on notice with the Chiefs losing the way they just lost, unless the Chiefs just have some phenomenal offseason and reconstruct a lot of money and just rebuild this team or really rebuild their offensive line, because I know they're going to change the offensive line after that lackluster performance. I would, if I'm an AFC team, I'm not losing nothing. Baltimore Ravens, you need to add more to the team. Bills, you need to add more to the team. Chargers, Bengals, any AFC team, Texas, that's close to competing. I don't care what your money look like. Don't lose nobody. Retain everybody that you need to retain. Only lose dead weight, because this is the one time the Chiefs gonna be down, and the Eagles show that they are very beatable. And if you do it the right way, easily beatable. So I think you did.
You said who was easily beatable?
The Chiefs. If you do it the right way, like the Eagles do, like attack the O-line, like don't give like if you do it the way the Eagles do it, they easily beatable.
Well, yeah, I think they're beatable in a game, but again, if you're in their division, particularly because you're gonna play them twice. I don't know if they're easily beatable twice in their division.
I don't know.
I wouldn't say that. I think everybody knows what their issues were. What their issues were. Obviously, we talk about the offensive line, but also that they just weren't overly explosive outside. And so they get Rashee Rice back next season. And obviously you get a second year with Xavier Worthy. Are they going to continue to add to the wide receiver room potentially? What happens, with Travis Kelce? I think is going to factor in as well. They certainly got to move around some money, in some areas. And again, when they lost the Super Bowl to the Buccaneers in 2020 or 2021, they went out and they invested in the offensive line. They got Orlando Brown, and they got I think it was Mitchell Schwartz, if I'm not mistaken. So they've done it. They've done it previously, and it wouldn't shock me if they do it again. But it's going to require some work. And that front office, Brett Veach, they know what they're doing. They've done it before, and they want to maximize at least this window with Andy Reid and with Patrick Mahomes, because they know they're gonna have Andy Reid at least next season. But I do think Andy Reid may be getting to the point where he's gonna start taking this year to year, and so
yeah, he's gonna have to.
Can they maximize that window? That's gonna be interesting to see.
Hey, chill, Lou. I see your comment. I'm definitely going to talk about that real quick. Well, also, this is another thing too. People got to realize: could the Commanders get Cook and T. Higgins? I don't know about T. Higgins unless they got to trade for T because they did the franchise tag on him. But they
haven't franchise tagged T. Higgins yet. But that's
the plan, though.
Well, I think the plan is to try to work something out with him, and if not, to potentially use the franchise tag. Now, I'm going to be very honest because you just brought up a good point. The salary cap is going up. Yep. The salary cap is going up for every team, but you only still have so many resources that you can use. And I want people to understand the NFL salary cap is a real thing. And a lot of it has to do with the resources you have on hand in order to, build your roster, but also what are you doing in terms of guarantees, and because those guarantees that you aren't paying out up front, those have to go into an escrow. which means you have to have that money, or at least 80% of it has to go into an escrow. So you don't just get to say, okay, well, we're guarantee you $100 million, but we're giving you $20 million up front. Well, that other 80 million has to go somewhere, or at least a good portion of it does. So that's the way it works. So the Bengals are going to be in a very interesting situation, because also Jamar Chase is extension eligible, and Trey Hendrickson is in the last year of his deal. He's looking for a new contract. There's only so much to go around. My belief, and I'm just saying my belief, I don't think it's off the table, if the Bengals tag T. Higgins, is to tag him, to trade him, to get something back for him. And another team will, of course, extend him or take care of his contract. So that, I think, if they tag him, it could be with that in mind. But I don't think it's off the table, because, again, you can't – the reality of it is you can't spend 85% of your cap on 4 players. And that's essentially what they'll be doing if you pay those guys, Burrow, Higgins, Jamar, and Trey Hendrickson market rate. So the Bengals got some decisions to make, and Mike Brown, who is notoriously cheap, if we're being honest, that's not how he does business traditionally. So we'll see.
Now, Lou had a comment, so I'm going to look it up. It probably was Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes probably wasn't on the team. This is what the last time the Chargers beat the Chiefs twice. Don't worry about it. Let me go find out right now. Okay, the Chiefs won. Let's say the last 5 years. And it's looking like the last time we beat the Chiefs twice, 2021. So we beat them in 2021, Lou, since you want to talk about it. For the last time the Chiefs beat 2021, not that long ago. Yeah, you thought you were going to get a 15, 20 year answer. No, don't do that. They nice now, though, but it's cool. But yeah, 2021 is the last time we beat them twice. Sean, we got to talk about NBA now. It's a lot of things going on in the NBA. And it's getting real, man. Sad to see, very sad to see and hear that young superstar Victor Wembanyama is out for the season with shoulder thrombosis. And pretty much from what the report was saying, I know a lot of people didn't know what it was. It's pretty much like blood clots in the shoulder, which is something scary to deal with. Obviously, you have seen this close before with the team that you love, with the Miami Heat, with Chris Bosh, with the blood clots, had to end his career early. This is more scarier than probably like straining your knee or tearing something in your knee, elbow, anything like that, because this could be life or death situations, and in the future, this something that should be taken very seriously. But what's your reaction to the Wemby news?
Obviously, you're very first, you're not happy that the young guys got to miss basically 6 months of basketball with this. To be very clear, for those that don't know, it's called DVT, deep vein thrombosis. So basically what it is they find a blood clot under and normally this happens more in your legs than upper body. So a lot of times they happen. It can be different reasons why it happens. It could be sitting on a plane too long, or inactivity and things like that can cause this. Obviously, with an athlete, particularly a basketball player, they traditionally don't have this issue, but it does come up from time to time. The uniqueness of this is it's not a lower body issue; it's an upper body issue. Obviously, it's right up under the shoulder. And why it's so serious with that is because blood clots can travel. And if a blood clot travels and gets to the lung, that's where it becomes life-threatening. And so the location of it, given the proximity to the lung, is why it's so serious. But you're glad that they found it, they caught it, and they're going to treat it. And hopefully this won't be a recurring thing, with him. Other guys have dealt with it. Brandon Ingram had it, has dealt with this. comes to mind. And ultimately, you treat it for 6 months with the blood thinners, which is, I'm assuming that's what they're going to be doing. He'll be on blood thinners for 6 months, which is why he can't play. The contact sport. It's just too much of a risk there. And then eventually, he'll be able to resume, basketball activities, presumably in probably August of this year. But certainly it stinks for him and for the Spurs, because I think they were a team after the De'Aaron Fox trade thinking they were going to make a push, for it. Now, and they played well last night without him. They did beat the Suns without him.
That ain't saying too much. The Suns trash.
Well, but I'm saying, it's clear just from a competitive standpoint, they're not going to just throw it in. They're not going to tank, So I know a lot of people are trying to make the comparison with, David Robinson going out and them getting Tim Duncan in that 97 draft. David Robinson only played like 9 games that year. So, Wemby's played a lot more games. And obviously there are some other teams in the NBA who stink far worse than the Spurs do. Yes. But that said, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
I hate that people comparing it to the David Robinson situation. Like, oh, we got a David Robinson situation again. Even to say how they thinking Cooper Flag. No, they're not going to. De'Aaron Fox not going to make them be that. They're not going to be that trash to get him. But for me, my reaction to the Wemby trade, it sucks because Wemby was having an outstanding season. And he was probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year by far easily. Now, with the new rules in play, he's not going to be eligible for the award with all the games that he's going to miss. So it sucks for that. Sucks for him. And everybody, we all presume that Wemby is going to be a great defender for the rest of his career. But you never know if you're going to never get another chance to get that award again, like a la Anthony Davis, who at every point in time was one of the best defenders in the league, one of the most versatile defenders in the league when he was young, moving up and around. Because people use it. I'm still can't even say it. I'm shocked that Anthony Davis don't have a Defensive Player of the Year. So this could darn well be something bad where Wemby don't ever get a Defensive Player of the Year in his career, because he probably could have missed out on this one, which we highly doubt it. Which how it seemed like Wemby game is going to be. I think he's going to get one. Since Lou said another DPOY for Triple J, most likely. Yeah.
I think
that's the safest answer for me.
And there's a lot of season left. And obviously I think there are guys who are going to be in the conversation that are generally in the conversation every year. When you talk about Evan Mobley, Bam obviously will be in the conversation. So I won't necessarily automatically pack the award up and send it to Memphis, but certainly, we'll see. It really just depends. And obviously, you still got to hit the 65 game threshold. So you never know, still 30 something games left in the season, roughly. We'll see, if, how that factors in as well.
I see pretty much Triple J got the award in tech. I see this one, since Wemby is out, I think Triple J is going to get rewarded like how Noah did that year, where it's like Noah was just playing like that good, where they treated like an MVP. Like, because Jared Jackson Jr. is playing like that good this season with the Grizzlies playing as what they still number 2, I believe, but they're at the top of the West. So I think they just going to reward Triple J off that fact. Because if not Triple J, then it got to be Evan Mobley. It has to be Evan Mobley for me. That's my 1-2.
Yeah, and again, I think what we don't talk about enough when you talk about DPOY is how much the team metrics fit into who gets the DPOY. So without I haven't done any research on that yet, because again, we're not at that point in the season. We'll do that probably later in the season, but the team defensive metrics often factor into how you're viewed as DPOY as much as your individual stats and accomplishments.
Yeah, they give it to one of the best. Well, I ain't gonna say, because we've seen one occasion, but usually the best defensive team, the best defender on the best defensive team, sometimes usually get it. So yeah, you said you was talking about Wemby. College Wemby not overrated. You said I'm talking about Wemby definitely get one. You never know though, because everybody said Anthony Davis definitely get one, and he didn't get one. But Sean, we had a lot of problem and complaining going on from NBA All-Star Weekend, from how bad All-Star Weekend was, to going on what's going on with the NBA, and people are starting to calling out the lackluster performance, the lackluster of heart, the lackluster of care from NBA players. It even got to a point where we got a hockey guy calling them out, PK. Shout out to him, because I remember at a point in time with PK, Sean, when he was in like the league, and this one I remember because like hockey, I ain't gonna hold you. I'm not watching. I'm not deep into hockey like that. I'll watch it. If it ain't the Blackhawks, I really don't care about it, because ever since I watched the finals of Blackhawks, when I've been a fan of them. But I ain't gonna lie to you and say like I know hockey like I know basketball or like football. No, but I do remember this guy because I believe he was going through like some things about his race, especially with the sport that he plays. Hockey is primarily like white Canadian, and he's a black guy in the sport. So I know he was talking about and dealing with troubles with coming there with him being a black man playing hockey. So that's what I really like remember him from. He's a good player, but he definitely had a lot to say about how the NBA players not showing no pride, no heart, when it comes like the All-Star break and what's going on with the league. I got a clip from when he was on. This was, I believe, he was on First Take.
I think he was on Get Up.
He was on Get Up and First Take.
Oh,
it was two clips. I'm gonna show you. I believe this is the one where he was on. I believe this was Get Up. Let's see. But yeah, let's go and play this clip real quick.
Then you're about two things: your teammates and the fans. And I'm sorry, it doesn't matter how much money you're making. When you do not show up to play, you're letting your teammates down. When you do not show up to play, you're letting the fans down that are paying you 40, 50, 60 million. I don't care if you're getting 300 million. Congratulations. But these people in here are paying $2,500 a ticket, $5,000, that are blue-collared, hardworking people. If you don't get your head wrapped around that, you shouldn't be in pro sports, because how are we going to grow? How do we expect you to be an example? Well, guess what? You don't want to be. You are one. You're on the biggest stage. You just said it. They make the most money. You're an example. You got to show up. You got to take that on. I'm sick and tired of making athletes greats, all-time greats, that aren't the best examples. Those are the people that we want our kids to follow, that we want athletes to follow. That helps us in our game. Stephen A., you want.
So I went a little bit short, but the main thing he was talking about, pretty much the players' effort of recent years when it comes to the NBA, or really just this year, because obviously that's what he's mainly talking about, led from the All-Star game. But a lot of fans have been questioning that with what's going on with the NBA, and I think it's a lot of things to play a part in this, Sean. And I might even want to like do a video. I think it's like a list of things. Might even want to do a video on it, like to break it down, a list of things that's really with the problem in the NBA and where we at. And remember, I was talking to you about, like, I was saying, like a comedian, my comedian friend, I know he said like the suburban kid thing, you know what I'm saying? People coming up with they not hungry coming up into the league. So it's like a different type of environment, or, you know, people not loving the game. Or, you know, it's a lot of different things. So the 24/7 media, the 24/7 getting scrutinized, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of other things that we go into. But I want to stick to mainly him, what he was saying. Like, how do you feel about what PK said about the NBA players' effort? Is he true? Is he wrong? Did he go too far?
So, SB, I'll say this. I think two things. Number one, I came up in a time when NBA All-Star Weekend was by far the best All-Star Weekend of the major four professional sports leagues. Mm-hmm. And when I say by far, it was by far.
Yeah.
It was a showcase, but it was also, I want people to remember there was a time where, again, we didn't get all the NBA games on national television that we have now, right? Particularly if you didn't have cable. So All-Star Weekend was super important because in a lot of instances, that's when you had an opportunity to really show the country and to a lesser extent the world who you were. If you played in certain markets, there are guys that you didn't always see. I'm gonna give you a great example. Alex English, right? Played for the Denver Nuggets. Alex English is, I believe, the leading scorer of the 1980s, the decade of the 80s. I believe he is.
I think he is too.
So in that vein, we didn't see. I didn't see there weren't a lot of Denver games on TV unless they were playing in Boston on a Sunday, or unless they were playing in LA right after the Boston game on Sunday afternoon on CBS. So that's when I got to see, Alex English. I think what's happened, unfortunately, and again, this is a much longer conversation, and I don't necessarily want to get into it because, again, for the interest of time, but to your point, we may actually have to just do one entire show about this. But I think what has happened is the greater the exposure meant that we were expecting greater expectation. And that's what we haven't always gotten. I use some language Monday that I normally wouldn't use on here because that's not really my thing at all. But I also recognize that, to PK Subban's point, there is a pride factor, and the pride isn't about, in all honesty, I'm going to show everybody why I'm the best in the world, because guys get to do that 20, 25 nights a year on national TV on average. No, we got the best of the best in the world here in this one place. This is the one time a season you're going to get the best of the best in the league and in the world here. And the pride was, no, I'm about to show everybody why I'm the best. I'm about to show everybody why I'm next. Why y'all don't have to worry about the league post LeBron and post Steph and post KD because I'm here. And that doesn't exist in this particular group right now. I think there's a lot of reasons why that doesn't exist, which, again, I don't want to get into all of those things, but he's not wrong. He's not wrong. And again, NHL with this, Four Nations format they just did, you saw guys going all out for it. But some of that comes from nationalism, them representing their country, whether USA or Canada, or representing their country. But also it comes from a space of, I don't play on national television. Now, NHL games aren't on every night on national television. I know who Connor McDavid is, and I know who Alex Ovechkin is, who we haven't talked about enough, but Alex Ovechkin is about to become the all-time lead scorer in hockey.
One of the greats.
But when you start listing names, it starts to get a little light. That's not the case with the NBA. I do think, though, we need to be very, very honest about what the NBA is at this point. The NBA, from a ratings perspective, is not a television league anymore. It's a social media league.
That's part of the problem, too.
And the product you see on national television isn't necessarily going to be reflective on social media.
Yep.
And that is a big part of it. Now, people complaining about these guys getting so much money and blah, blah, blah. And while I'll say that's fair, that's not going to change. They've already gotten the money. They just signed a new media rights deal. That money's coming, regardless whether we turn it on or not. They're going to get their money. They're getting their money. Now, if the ratings dip or if the ratings start to fall off, it's the next media rights deal that you'll see that money dropping in. But you're not going to see that now because this is an 11-year deal they're about to start. That's roughly, $7 billion a year between Amazon, Peacock, NBC, and ESPN. So let's be very clear. It's not going to change. And I think we need to just own that's where we are right now with the game. And again, it's not going to change anytime soon.
Well, PK, I have to 1,000% agree with him. For me being a fan, watching the game for a while, and Blue Ball, I know you and we definitely we finna get on LeBron too about Bron getting blamed because I have something to say about that. The truth of the matter of that situation. But let's go to the NBA as a whole. And Sean, you did say one thing that's important, that the guys who are supposed to be taking over post LeBron, post KD, ain't doing a good job at that. It don't feel like the league is in good hands. I know we have times where people disrespect like other eras, but I think this new up and coming era is truly disrespecting the legends in a different type of way. There's like you are burning a house or the foundation of what they built for y'all to get the money that y'all getting right now, for y'all to get the guaranteed contracts that you're getting right now, for y'all to get the better flights that y'all getting right now. Yeah, I even went to flights. It was different type of traveling. You see, the WNBA just got private flights. It was a time where a long time ago, but even little things like that matter. All that matters. And I don't feel like the players that's coming up now don't care. And I don't think they love the game of basketball like that. I think basketball got to the point where they're making too much money, where now as people get into the league who just talented enough to play basketball don't really love the game. And it's sad to say, and I could be wrong, but until further notice, until I see more out of this new generation that's coming up, I can't see none of them loving the game of basketball like LeBron James or like Kevin Durant do. They don't move like it. They don't act like it. They don't show it at no point at all. And maybe you could say maybe the playoffs they show that, but I it's a reason why that's a reason for that too. But like I said, we all want to get too deep in this conversation and talk about that. But I think that's the problem. And then also the next thing is, and I 100% agree with PK, by the way. He hit everything on the nail on the head. It's bad when the hockey guy got to come tell y'all that. The other problem we have is player entitlement problem. A lot of these players come in the league, happy. Then once they get that super max extension and ain't done nothing in the league, ain't gave back nothing to the league to push the league forward, they think they owe them something. The league is entitled to them. Perfect guy like Ben Simmons. Even Kawhi with injury, I get injuries, but game, man, it's just little things like that where you taking advantage of the everyday people. Like, bro, people paid a lot of money to come to that All-Star game. You don't even care enough to hoop. The basketball play, and I know everybody complained about the ass. I agree, it was more ass than basketball. But maybe, just maybe, y'all ain't think about the fact that Adam Silver was so scared or so nervous, or so worried, I should say, I don't even say scared, worried that the player was going to put on a bad showing, that he rather put on a Kevin Hart and Inside the NBA TV show on TV longer than basketball. Nobody talk about that part, though, like, because they had to set up the foundation of the game and the show, and the players got mad because they got kept stopping and going for what? Y'all don't deserve that. When y'all had a full game, what did y'all do? Y'all played like y'all was stopping and going, so we going to actually do that. So for the commissioner of the league, use more, pretty much had a Kevin Hart special inside the NBA and commercials more than basketball. That should tell you the players should feel disrespected, and they don't care still. Only thing I heard complain is we just hated that we had to stop. Kept stopping and playing. Nobody felt disrespected, and nobody not knowing what's going on, that they so worried that y'all gonna put on a bad showing that they had the field time. And so they had like, we got to find a way to make this money back, because people going to be calling us like, what type, we put all this money into the NBA or the All-Star weekend, we didn't get our money worth. That should tell you a lot. And the players think like the league and Adam Silver owe you something. The All-Star weekend got changed because y'all didn't do y'all job. How are y'all entitled to say, let's go back to East and West? What have y'all shown on the court for y'all to go get back to the normal program? Nothing. What have y'all done at all? But I think we do got a player entitlement problem, Sean, for sure.
So I won't deny that there is an epidemic, I think, in the league among player entitlement. And again, when you collectively bargain things and players hit those markers to get those things that have been collectively bargained, I'm not upset with that at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are a couple of things that we need to be very, very honest about, though, SB. I think, number one, the advent of social media, while it's had some great benefits for players in the league, there's been some drawbacks as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of times you know so much more about these guys and they share so much more about themselves in the interest of raising their individual brands that there's questions about whether or not they, along with their teams, are really all in on doing what it takes to try to win. I think that's a fair question. I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer with it, but I do think that's a fair question. But as I said earlier, greater exposure brought greater expectation, and I think it's fair to say the expectation overwhelmingly has not been met, given what you're giving guys.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it was about 20 years ago or so. It was right after Michael Jordan retired for good. He was on Oprah Winfrey, and he was talking with Oprah about the state of the players today. And he was talking about guys getting these, huge contracts and these huge deals, shoe deals, and all these endorsements and things coming into the NBA based purely on their potential.
Yep.
And he talked about the risk of that is they don't have to work as hard.
Yep.
And he was talking about, the Magics and the Birds and himself and the others of that era that had to put in the work, and they earned, in his opinion, they earned those things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was that far as he took it at the time. But I think if you watch the clip and listen to what he said 20 yeyears ago today, I think it applies more today than it ever has.
Yeah, he hit it on the money.
And I do think it has something to do with the fact that we do get very, very wrapped up in potential. We get very much wrapped up in, oh man, this guy can be great. We're talking about, 3 guys in this upcoming draft that, and Cooper Flagg and Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper, who are all really good college players who could be really good NBA players. People would get more wrapped up in that than sometimes looking at some of the guys in the NBA who may not necessarily get a lot of hype or get a lot of pub, but are really good basketball players, and they just come hoop, and there's no drama with them. There's no nonsense with them. We rather focus on that. So some of it is the appetite of the audience and what is the audience asking for as opposed to the product. And so maybe from an audience perspective, maybe we need to refocus our interest on, well, no, let's look at who's actually playing. Let's look at who's actually doing well. Let's look at this young player who's actually come in the league, put in the work, growing their game, and and doing well. We talk far more about drama than we do someone like Norman Powell.
Yep.
Right.
Who could have played in the All-Star game, but somebody wanted to do something the wrong way. But we'll talk about that in a second.
Right. So again, I think some of it is, from an audience perspective, do we focus a little too much on the glitz and the glamour and the bells and the whistles, or are we apt enough, and I'm just speaking about an audience in general, are we apt enough or well-informed enough on the game to focus on, well, this guy is playing well, this guy is hooping, right? Again, the Clippers are nationally considered a joke, but
yes,
that's a very dangerous team.
Yes.
If they're healthy. And they're like number 2 in the league in defense this season.
Mm-hmm.
But who's talking about that? People rather talk about the boom and the glitz and the, and that's what I mean. It's I think that some of it has to be from an audience perspective. We have to educate ourselves enough on the game to enjoy the actual game and not the crazy stuff that comes around and the drama stuff that comes around the game and the sport.
Adam John said, we saw a 25-year-old Luka get traded. He lost $350 million supermax. Dallas didn't believe that Luka could stay and play in shape. And honestly, Adam John, the Luka Doncic was with the problem that's growing with the NBA with the player entitlement, where like people think, oh, Luka was supposed to be one of those untouchable. And part of the problem with player entitlement was stuff like that, where like, oh, I'm Luka Doncic. I'm just saying, Luka probably wasn't like this, but Luka Doncic could have been like, I'm Luka Doncic. I pretty much own Dallas. Dallas ain't gonna get another superstar like me, so I'm not gonna do my job to my full potential. They said, no, this was to put everybody on notice, like, hey, look, if y'all don't do what we need y'all to do, I'm gonna move you out. Not gonna pay you this much money because that's a lot of. It's possible we get to a point where players might get $70 million a year. We already do it at like 50. $70 million. That's a lot of money to pay a player who not doing everything they supposed to do. You only gonna pay them just off occasion.
As just for context, SGA is extension eligible this offseason. Mm-hmm. In the last year of his deal, SGA is going to make close to $80 million a season.
And if you want to pay, come on now, like you said, that's the way it's going. Do you want to pay a person $80 million a year that he ain't doing his job? $80 million a year that he ain't doing his job. Now, say it, Sean. I know what you're finna say. Go ahead, say it.
Well, here's my thing for Dallas. You pay Luka, and if he doesn't do it, then you trade him. But you don't worry about paying someone like that. And also you don't worry about, can you trade that player? Because that player, if you put him on the block, a lot of teams are calling and they're going to give you everything, maybe including their firstborn child, to get Luka Doncic in their uniform.
Yep. And
so from Dallas's perspective, pay him and figure it out later.
Yep, and that's what they should have did. Like you said, you could have traded. It ain't no signing bonus where you got to hold a cap for you like NFL. So once you trade him, you gone. I put highlighted blue blood. I wish the Sixers. We're gonna talk about the Sixers after this LeBron story too. But the reason why I want to put blue ball comment up right here because it's gonna segue to our next segment. So. I'm gonna kick my daughter, but sorry. She kept it just ahead of me. I don't know. But sorry. But blue ball led into our next segment that we finna go into right here about LeBron. Okay, he said, so you guys agree that this season will put a dent in LeBron all-time standing, like this clown Stephen A. second place saying. The problem is this though, right? It's a 2-thing. One, the man is in year 20-something, blue ball. The man's career is pretty much almost as minute. Ain't nothing too much really LeBron James could do. And the problem is that's also another problem with the NBA is that we always worrying about what somebody do at their all-time standard and then what we label as what they do at the all-time standard because now the players don't care about what they do during the regular season of these awards because we tell everybody only championship matters or you chasing certain stats or everything you do today where it mess up your all-time standard, and that's part of the problem. And part of the bigger problem is your guy LeBron and Jordan being the face of who's the best player and what arguments people make. So people start looking at basketball that way, and they both part of the problems. You can't put a dent in nobody's career who been in like the league 20-some years. LeBron pretty much career cemented. But also, is LeBron James getting unfairly blamed for the problems that goes on in the NBA? Now, I stated before, Sean, that I feel like it's no players until they really showed me that they love the game of basketball, got a heart of the game of basketball like LeBron James and Kevin Durant, right? And if you notice with these two players, with like LeBron James, it's the same problems you hear. We don't get this LeBron, this could be KD. They both are right here. Oh well, we don't get no competitives in the All-Star game. There's a problem. LeBron goes up with the blame. KD still standing right here. Manager still got the same love for the game. When Kobe was here, he pushed the issue. LeBron don't force the issue for that. Boom, another blame. Oh, man, the players ain't taking everything seriously, another blame. Or people ain't care about the championship, another blame. And the reason why LeBron gets that blame and Kevin Durant still stay right here, even though they love for the game is still the same, is because LeBron James is the face of the league. When you are face of the league, you get different responsibilities than other players. So is LeBron James unfairly getting blamed? No, he's not. Do he deserve the blame? No, he does not, because he's not part of the problem. But y'all got to understand, it's like when you the face, when you the president of the United States, it's certain stuff go on that the president probably don't have nothing to do with what the problem was. But the first thing you're gonna say, oh man, Biden, Biden is Biden problem. It's Biden the part of this. But also when things go good, you go get the blame. That's all it is. Like LeBron only getting the blame because he is the face. And another problem with the league right now is that why is a 40-year-old guy still the face of the league? That's what comes. So is LeBron James getting unfairly blamed? What's going? No, he's not. He's the face of basketball. The face going to get all the blame, and he gonna get all the praise. Because when the league do good, we praise LeBron. When the league do bad, he gonna get blamed. Like I said, with the effort and everything that's going on in the league, is it his fault is going on? No, he's not part of the problem. But as a face, he's the face of the NBA. So the first name, any casual fan or anybody on the street knows LeBron James. So even the casual dude who don't watch basketball every day, and you see a report that says the NBA has been lackluster during the All-Star game, and the casual fan only know LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry, but LeBron James being the face, he gonna get the blame, brother. And that's just the truth of the matter of the fact. So it's like it just comes with the game of where LeBron James is at. But also it is a problem where that only thing LeBron James that as a face done wrong is he's not verbal enough. He do a lot of passive aggressive thing. Like I think the thing that LeBron James did for All-Star game, something going on that he wanted something done, or it was trying to send a message. That was a passive aggressive LeBron James that he didn't really even care too much for the weekend. It's probably a certain reason why it's something that's going to be behind the scenes. LeBron James used to be passive aggressive like this is something going on. I think LeBron James could be more vocal. And I think because LeBron James go out and say, hey, bro, we finna play hard. I think the players listen. But how long you will keep depending on this dude? Somebody got to step up. I literally seen a clip, and that's why I said I need to watch the documentary. I think I seen the clip of Kevin Durant crying. I think it was part of the documentary where he was like, he just loved the game of basketball so much and it changed his whole life for his family and the better. And he was dropping tears about how much he loved basketball. I don't see that with nobody else in the league, Sean. I don't. But I want to hear your opinion on it too. But I disagree that LeBron James is getting unfairly blamed because at the end of the day, bro, he the face of the league. Somebody gonna have to take the blame. It's gonna be him, but he is not part of the problem with the current NBA problems. I should say that, especially when it comes to competitiveness. But what about
you? I would say, SB, to your point, that when you are, I'll say this. LeBron is one of those people that reached one name status very early in his celebrity life. And what is one name status? When only one of your names needs to be said and everybody knows who they're talking about. Right? LeBron. So he was face of the league probably earlier than maybe even he's gonna be one to admit.
Yeah. I can tell you when he became a face of the league too, not to cut you off, Sean, because it was pretty much Kobe's league and legal stuff happened and the NBA had to shift over towards that way. I believe it was around that time where it's like, hey, look, this guy gonna be the next guy. Hopefully he stayed as good. I believe after that happened because you couldn't keep Kobe in that light after what what going on. I believe whenever around that happening. And I believe that was close to LeBron either getting ready to come to the league rookie year, first or 2 years.
It was the same summer.
Same summer, yep. I believe day one, they were like, hey, look, bro, we got too much going on. Let's hopefully this rookie work out. By year 2 or 3, LeBron was the face of the league.
And again, to that point, it's unfortunate. Now, again, I think some of it is, and they even had this conversation on Inside the NBA recently about, are you crowned the face of the league or do you take it? And I think we are in a space now where we are very, very quick to crown someone a potential face of the league who hasn't necessarily taken it. It's it's when a guy like D Wade jumps up on the scorer's table and says, "This is my house." There was never a question about whether or not it was his house. We always knew it was his house. does the guy have to jump up on the scorer's table and say, "This is my league"? I'm going to be very honest. I think it was. I'm not going to go there. Let me not go there because I don't want to start anything.
But I know what you're going to say. The problem is, Sean, I think the two problems with a lot of kids in this generation, because we want to, at the end of the day, first things first, the league does not want an international guy to be the face of the league. That's y'all can keep saying, oh no, the league don't want, because that's the case. It probably could have been Giannis or Joker, really probably Giannis right now. And the true face of the NBA, and the people don't want him to be the face of the NBA right now, is probably Jason Tatum. But that's what I wanted. Everybody wanted like Ant-Man. But I also think that LeBron James, I mean, that's what I will give LeBron James the highly credit, undoubted, you like not question who's the greatest player, greatest face off the court is. It's LeBron James. LeBron James has set a standard of how you supposed to be as the face of the league. Never got in no trouble. Don't have no women problems. Don't have no other addictions, partying problems, whereas anything concerned, nothing gets away of basketball and business. LeBron James is a family man, a businessman. He done built schools. He gave back to his community. And it's a standard where I think a lot of players can't handle that, where it's like, hey, I got to go out here and drop 30 and carry my team and be competitive for a championship and then come home, make sure I'm on the straight and narrow, kiss the wife and babies, make sure I don't get caught up with no women, don't have extra baby mamas and all that, and do that. A lot of people can't handle all that, Sean, and I believe LeBron took the standard of, if you want to be the face of the league, this is how you got to be. You see Ant-Man went away from it. Remember that first playoff run? Yeah, he liked Jordan. Oh, this is my league. And then next thing you know, I ain't gonna expose Ant-Man business. Y'all can do your own research up yourself. He got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of extra baggage going on, and he realized it when you're the face of the league, any wrong thing you do is gonna get highlighted. Anything you're gonna get highlighted, even more than the good stuff you do, because we gonna hear the negative more than the positive. Ja could be the face of the league. So you see what happened with Ja. Because you got to be on a straight and narrow. And it's a certain, I think a lot of people can't handle playing at their best ability and dealing and being on a straight and narrow, because you're going to have to be. You got to be president status, kissing baby, Sean.
Yeah, so I've never been a big fan of face of the league because I think it puts way too much on one person to do everything from a public perspective the right way. These guys are human. They have to walk the way they see fit. They have to talk the way they see fit. They have to live their lives the way they see fit. The moment they do something that isn't publicly perceived as good or that goes against what the public may want for them, that puts the whole face of the league in the at question. So I've never liked that term. That's not something I've ever been a big fan of. Ultimately, you can be a great player and not necessarily be the person that everybody wants you to be outside of your job. Right? We've seen many guys like that. And I don't want to name examples because that's not necessarily what this is about. I think we need to start embracing that there is young talent all over the league, in every league, baseball, football, basketball, even in hockey. There's talent all over the place. And let's just embrace that you get this talent for a specific period of time, and then the talent's gone, and then there's new talent coming in. When we get obsessed with who's the next this, who's the next that, what if there's not supposed to be a next? What if this person is supposed to be a once-in-a-lifetime thing? That's okay. That's all right. It doesn't necessarily have to be a next. It doesn't mean that what that new person coming in is doing is without merit, which is why I don't do the LeBron and MJ comparisons, because they don't compare for me. Michael had his time. LeBron's having his time. His time is coming to an end very soon. The next person will have their time, so on and so forth. It is the way it always goes. So the face of the league thing does not I've never been a big believer in that ideology. But I do understand that there are certain guys who are more out front than others. And those who are out front more than others have a responsibility to be the quote unquote example for those who are coming behind them. When your best player is your hardest worker, everybody else on the team can't slack. It's like, no, look how this person's coming in. We got practice at 10. This person at 6:30 is already in the weight room working out. He's already gotten on the court and gotten a workout in before we even have practice. So how am I going to complain, or why am I going to be like, oh man, I'm not doing this, and why am I not playing, and why am I not? No, work harder. I think that to me should be the greater conversation as opposed to who's the face of the NBA. Because frankly, it doesn't matter. NBA games are going to come on anyway, whether there's a quote unquote face of the league or not.
Yeah.
There's a game on right now on ESPN. Two of the better teams in the Eastern Conference are playing. One of them getting smacked right now, but that's neither here nor there. The point is that
it's the Knicks and
Cavs.
The Cavs getting smacked, ain't they?
No, the Knicks are getting smacked,
bro.
Yeah,
we'll say that for Monday. I think we need to have a Knicks segment. We need to talk about the Knicks. I had high hopes, but they can't beat no top team, bro.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. So my point is that enjoy the game for what it is, and as Adam John said, leave the game better than you found it. Not disagreeing with that at all, but I think guys need to understand what that means, and I don't know if these guys necessarily understand what that means. They think leaving the game better than you found it means guys coming after you are going to make more money than you. Well, it's so much bigger than that.
Thank you.
So much bigger than that.
Say that again, brother. That was the bar. That's right there, bro. Say that one more time, bro. One more time. I need that one more time. Sorry, Sean.
Guys think leaving the game better than you found it means the guys who come in after you are going to make more money than you. And that's not the totality of it. That's not the totality of it. It's not.
That's a bar.
It's so much more to it than that.
On that note, Sean, you ended that perfectly. I don't have nothing else to say, but we could definitely get into more if we got to do a deep dive video. I think it really needs to, because it's a lot of things that led to it, and you got to go back to research. But ended on that note that people think just because you make more money, you leave in the league. And on to the next. I appreciate that, Sean. That is facts. That is factual statements. Another factual statement, Sean, is that it's time to blow up the 76ers. Joel Embiid believes that he needs to take care of his knee to return to his MVP form. Joel Embiid, your knee has been a problem since you've been in the league. Your knee was a problem when you was an MVP candidate. If the 76ers were smart, you need to get ahead of this and let Joel Embiid go. Do you agree with that, Sean? And then what's your assessment of the statement, by the way?
I mean, he's not lying, but I think the problem is the focus can't be returning to an MVP form. The focus has to be returning, or has to be finding a way to be effectively dominant in your current state.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to go back. How can I be great going forward?
Mm-hmm.
What can I do to be great going forward to help my team win going forward? Because there's no going back.
No.
And can he figure that out? And can the Sixers figure that out, given their restrictions with this roster? So that's gonna be key, but we'll see.
Yeah, let's see. I think it's time. Paul George out here dropping 2 points to go on vacation. We out here finessing the bag. Hey, all I'm saying is this: y'all keep doing this, and the money gonna get higher. You said with the CBA, which I think the CBA is terrible, by the way. A lot of players you're gonna see a lot more player movement too. This next CBA, to how many years? You said 7?
I don't know where the CBA is. I was talking about the media rights deal.
Media rights. I'm sorry. CBA. If I guarantee within they probably could reopen it, or if it, I don't know if it's like a 4-year part, but whatever the next one is, I would not be surprised they get to the point of asking for non-guaranteed contracts or put incentives or ways to get out contracts. I'm trying to tell you, Sean, it's gonna happen. Last story of the day. We got to talk about our New York Knicks. You know, good those Knicks. I said Knicks. Jesus, New York Yankees. I am so sorry. Yankee fan base. Forgive me. We got to talk about the New York Yankees because they are altering the long-time rule of facial hair. You know, the Yankees always had a policy that you had to have a clean face. So now we are shifting to
You could have a mustache. You could have
a mustache, but no beards. A mustache, no beard. Clean face. You know, clean. Now they said you can have a well-groomed beard, Sean. Do you think this is gonna help the Yankees get more talent or what?
I think it's definitely a welcome change to an antiquated policy. Many of us have been complaining for years as Yankee fans about the policy, given the number of players who have said very publicly that the only reason why they would never play for the Yankees is because of that policy. I think it's great that the Yankees are doing that. I hope that, so to be clear, the policy says well-groomed.
Well-groomed.
Well, again, who defines that? Who ultimately says, who's going to be, Mr. Smithers to go down and tell so-and-so that they need to shave? Mr. Smithers, that's a Simpsons reference for those of y'all that don't know. Okay. But if y'all have never seen Homer at Bat, the baseball episode of The Simpsons, one of the best episodes of The Simpsons ever. Anyway, there was a thing, back in the day with, George Steinbrenner when Don Mattingly, the great Don Mattingly, showed up to Yankees camp with a mullet, and Steinbrenner basically told him to get a haircut. So well-groomed is very much, going to be subjective, I think, but I think it's a good compromise as opposed to you come here, you got to shave your beard. So, I think it'll be very, very interesting to see, how it plays out. But glad that they've moved on from this long-standing antiquated policy.
We could get some good players around here. But Sean, episode 45. Who you got? Also, the RTOD membership is live. Join to become a member. Perks come with that. Exclusive access come with that. Also, Sean, if you once I actually get back the pamphlet for it, if a certain level, honestly, they can control the content we make too. Sean, maybe make a segment on the show. Let's see. Become a member. But Sean, episode 45. What you got?
I'm gonna go with a throwback because I'm pretty sure I know who you're gonna go with. I'm gonna go with the Birmingham Barons outfielder, Michael Jordan.
You so dirty. I was gonna try to switch it up and say Mike on that team, but yeah, we gotta show love to MJ for sure. We gotta show love to MJ. I'm going MJ. Did it not? Yeah, I can't really see nobody else I'll pick. It gotta be the GOAT.
And when we give another one too. One of the best defensive backs of all time, Kenny Easley, played for the Seahawks for many years. Or number 45, great DB. So Kenny Easley.
Okay, and then I show love to somebody who putting belt to behind to the Knicks right now, Spider Mitchell. Spider Mitchell went 4-5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we can do that.
Also his long lost brother Davion Mitchell.
We thought he was gonna be the next Tony Allen. Maybe he still got time. He still got time.
He's a young guy. He's playing well right now in Miami, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how he do. All right, man. Appreciate you guys. It's been another great episode of Real Takes Over Fake Debates with SB and Sean. We will see you guys on Monday. Peace.